He's the newest owl, and it's about time we welcome him inside the nest.
He's Temple's newest Vice President and Director of Athletics, Arthur Johnson. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, and you're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
How are you? So let's start off. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Obviously, we got great weather, but it's also the start of basketball season with women's basketball getting started tonight, and then the men start tomorrow. But this is a huge time in college athletics as we wind down the football season, finish up some other sports, but with college basketball starting, which will lead us up to March Madness.
You mentioned in your introductory presser you were going to take a 90-day listen and learn tour. So far, what do you think is the most important thing you've learned?
I think that the love that the people who support this institution, that they have for Temple and their time on campus, their time since that time. The staff has been great. We've also have some great student athletes who have been very welcoming and open to meeting me and visiting with me. Our coaches and staff have been great. But really overall, in visiting with your donors, those supporters, to talk about how much they truly love Temple and what the experience means to them.
So far this fall season, it's been a tough one for Temple Athletics. Every single team under 500. Right now, when you look forward, is there, at the health of the athletic department, is this a team-by-team process, or is there a policy that can hopefully elevate these teams going forward?
The goal is to elevate all of them, not just to focus on one or two sports. Obviously, some get more attention than others, but we got over 500 student athletes who represent us in 19 different sports, and they all are interested in winning. We're interested in a great experience across the board for all of them, and it starts with each individual team. However, the expectations will be there for all of our teams.
And narrowing in on a program for a second here, obviously this is a football program. We want to talk about that football program. 4-12 over the last 2 seasons. When do you start to evaluate the program, and what changes need to be made to get them back on the right track?
Well, I think evaluation takes place really across of a whole season. As you know, my first official day was 6 days ago, so I'm still new to all of this and trying to follow it. But really, my job right now is to be supportive of Coach Carey and and our student athletes as we continue to compete and get ready to play Houston this weekend, plus the rest of the season. So it's evaluating everything and getting feedback from people who have been here, but also finding out, okay, what are some of the reasons for our struggles or challenges. But the biggest thing I can do right now is be supportive of our coach and our program.
So far, there has been a concern from some and excitement from some others with you now in town about the idea of a proposed stadium. The original idea was on Broad and Norris, but there's other proposed projects going in that place now. Right now, is there an idea if Temple does reconsider the stadium that they look maybe to the north of the campus?
Well, actually, that's something that you would have to ask President Wingard and the leadership of the institution. I haven't had time to really look into that. At this point, I'm busy trying to meet people, learn more about the university, and also find ways to help our student athletes who are currently here.
And mentioning helping these student athletes, there's so many schools across the country that have jumped right in and started to use the advantage of NIL for its student athletes. What is Temple doing, and what are the plans going forward to try and put student athletes in the best position to take advantage of their name, image, and likeness?
Our staff already had a program that was in place, and they were working on it. I think Christy and Justin were the two main people. They've also had conversations with the law school about a potential partnership and helping our student athletes learn. But the key thing with all of this is educating students on how to build their brand and the value of their brand, and then figuring out ways of how it works. But all across the country, we're all still trying to figure out how this is going to change the landscape of college athletics. But I think we have a great opportunity here in this greater Philadelphia community to really take advantage of NIL.
And speaking the changing landscape of college athletics, right now there's been a lot of conference realignment with changes coming to the AAC. Is Temple married to this conference, or is there an idea that maybe another move could be imminent?
No, right now we're in the AAC, and our goal is to be the best team that we can be in the AAC across the board. So in addition, we're in a couple of other conferences as well, the Big East for a couple of sports, I think the Eagle Conference also. So the American is where we are and where we plan to be until something changes. But right now we want to be the best we can be in the American.
If we could reconvene as a group 5 years from now and have a similar conversation between the three of us and ask you about what you've accomplished at Temple, what would you hope that conversation would include?
I think providing great experiences and memories for our student athletes, and that includes winning championships. So winning championships in sports and continuing the great academic job that Justin and the team here has done with our student athletes across the board when it comes to the academic performance of our students. So graduating students, but also having success in competition in all of our sports and having a number of championships and participating in postseason play.
Looking back at your time, you just came from the University of Texas. What are some lessons that you learned at that large athletic department that you want to bring here to Temple?
I think the biggest lesson is knowing that kids love to compete. We're bringing groups together from various and diverse backgrounds from different countries, from different parts of this country, and they all have a love for their sport and they want to be the best that they can be, but they also have a hunger for learning. We have some great students who are interested in learning, but at the core of it all and the crux of it all, we both programs have about 500 to 550 student athletes, coaches. I think there are 21 programs at Texas. We got 19 programs here. Obviously, the financials are different. However, we still have to manage our finances here just like we had to manage finances at Texas.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure getting a chance to speak with you and meeting with you.
Well, no, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, and always go Owls. I hope fans out there that you get out to watch our men's and women's basketball teams compete, starting tonight with the women and tomorrow with the men, and then Saturday's doubleheader, which is unique but a great opportunity to celebrate Temple. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, good luck going forward.